I'm here with Coach Willie Edwards, the assistant head coach for the Brown Bears. How are we doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. Through the grapevine, I heard this was the last practice for you. It's like you said, it was a little bittersweet. What are your thoughts today?
Yeah, man, it was bittersweet to have our last practice. Only 12 of them in the Ivy League, and it was a good one, man. Kids had a lot of energy today. They were flying around. I was really impressed with what we did today.
So we spoke before. This is going. You've been at Brown for a few years. You started out as the linebackers coach, and then you went to the RB coach, and this year you're the assistant head coach. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, man. So I was a high school coach for 14 years, right across the street at a school called Moses Brown School. And then the last 8 of those 14 years, I was the head coach there. We had a pretty good run, and I became friendly with Coach Perry through the recruiting scene. And he invited me. He offered me a position back in 2019. I took it, and I started off coaching the outside linebackers. I was there for about a year and a half. And then, like right after COVID or during COVID, I transitioned over to running backs. Did that? I've been doing that now for 3 years, and this January I was elevated and promoted to the assistant head coach. It's been a great transition to be able to be on both sides of the ball, on the defensive side, the offensive side, and now being more in an elevated position with the overall program with this new title.
Well, congratulations to you, sir. Obviously, hard work and dedication pays off.
No doubt.
But you mentioned the running backs, and I know it's going to be some production that needs to replace Alan Smith from last year, who's trying to continue his career in the NFL. I see you practice, Stockton Owen and Ian Frazzoni. They look good. Stockton looked like he got some juice. Talk to us about this running back room.
Yeah, man, we have a really talented running back room. First and foremost, all these kids love football. That's half of the battle with this Division I football is being able to love the game.
Right.
And the second thing is they work hard. They're workers. And so, yeah, we lost Alan Smith, a 2-time All-Ivy running back. Is big shoes to fill. He had a lot of production. But I think our kids that we have in this room are up for the challenge. You mentioned Stockton Owen, who was having a great year last year until he broke his clavicle. So he'll be a big figure in this room this coming season, along with Jordan DeLucia. You didn't get to see him the day you were out here, but Jordan has a lot of, reps under his belt. And then there's some other guys, Ian Franzoni, who, been battling the injury bug, but is just so talented and versatile. If we can keep him healthy, he'll be a big contributing member of this room. And we got another senior, Dylan DeShenny, and then there's a rising sophomore who really showed some promise these last couple practices, Quentin Brown. So those 5 guys right there, and then we got 3 freshmen coming in. I think with the pieces coming in and what we have currently, I think we'll be able to carry the torch that Allen started with his productivity.
I mean, it's a lot of productivity to make up for. And I know when we spoke earlier, you said that you guys are fast-paced offense and that you like a running back by committee. Now, is it running back by committee because of how fast-paced you are, and how fast-paced are you?
Yeah, I mean it is an extremely fast operation, extremely fast offense. We try to snap the ball as much as we can. In a typical college football game, an offense might snap it 65, 70 times a game.
Right.
We're going to snap it a minimum 85 times. We had a couple games last year we snapped it 100, and that's part of the reason why it's committee.
Right.
I cannot play the same running back snap after snap, 80 snaps, 85 snaps. By week 4, that kid will more than likely be very tired or injured. So I'll use 2, maybe 3 guys. Last year, I was very fortunate to have 3 really good ones, and I used all 3 of them. And so it will be by committee just because of how many times we love to snap the football.
All right, I love it. I love the pace of this. The practice was in; it was nonstop. You and Coach Perry would just let's go, line up, let's get it going. So let's talk about the leaders on this offense. These quarterbacks, right? Nothing's set in stone, but it seems like Wilcox is QB1. But listen, Jarvis got that juice. He was displaying a little bit his Anthony Richardson maneuver there with his jump fake the day I was at practice. Then he took off down the right sideline. So talk to us about the QB room. And I'm not going to leave out Colin Dix, the left-handed lace thrower, right? He looked like he got some juice as well. So talk to us about the QB room.
You can't forget Court. Yeah, I mean, it's a really talented room. Coach Perry, Coach Marini do a good job with them. Nothing's set in stone, but I think Jake is starting to, separate himself a little bit. as QB1. The big enchilada is trying to figure out who QB2 is. As you mentioned, Will Jarvis, Cortland Dix are really talented kids, but we have some other guys. We have a rising sophomore, Ty Holtz, and we have a senior, Nate Lucier, who does a bunch of different things for us. He comes in on our Wildcat, short yardage package. He plays some H, but he is also a capable quarterback. When you lose, your starter, you just want your backup to be able to come in and kind of, run the ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, hopefully in August, we'll figure out who that guy is going to be, or maybe one of those guys might emerge and really push Jake Wilcox for that number one. But it's a really, really good room. And then he has two really talented guys coming in this upcoming freshman class.
So, competition in the QB room is always good. And you mentioned Lucia. Is that the gentleman I seen line up in the slot for a couple plays there?
They put him in the slot. They put him in the wing. I seen him in line as a tight end once before with his hand down. Yeah. Quarterback. We get down in our goal line package. They'll direct snap to him and he'll run it. He had a couple touchdowns last year. Very talented kid. We play a lot of this multi-sets where we'll put two quarterbacks on the field at the same time. And Coach Perry likes to recruit guys that can do a lot of different things. And Lucy is that guy. He's that guy.
So you mentioned recruiting, and I'm just going to bring it up. I don't know if we can touch upon it all, but I know that local kid Michael Kinnick had come in for a visit. Can we talk about him a little bit? Like, what's the
I
vibe?
wish. No, I can't talk about guys
not a problem.
Yet. Yeah, it's a rule, but yeah, we do. We had a lot of people come in. Without mentioning any names, we had we had 4 virtual junior days and we had 3 in-person junior days, and we were able to show this great school, these great facilities to a lot of families. A lot of families came through, and it's been awesome. Yeah, awesome. It's great.
All right, well, let's flip it to the defensive side of the ball. And from what I seen when I was there, is DB Isaiah Reed. He's the guy in the secondary. He's the captain out there. He's him, as the young kids say. Talk to us about Reed.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. I mean, I'm really lucky that I was able to recruit Isaiah. We found him late COVID year, and I found him on Twitter, and he was deadlifting 500 pounds on one clip, and I was like, wow. And then the next clip, he was doing windmill dunks, and so I immediately contacted Coach Perry. He's like, I don't think we have anybody in our program that can do both of these things. And so, he lived up to it. You know what I mean? I mean, he's been a starter since a freshman. He was all league last year as a sophomore, and like you said, he's a dog. He's him. He plays with a great deal of swag. And he brings it out of the entire defense. You see other guys just honestly last year we seen the defense come alive, and I think a lot of it had to do with just the way this kid plays. I think people just gravitate to Isaiah. Yeah,
it oozes off him, right? Yeah. The swag whoever's around him in that secondary, they're flowing with him. No. And like I wrote in the write up about the practice was like, they don't want to challenge him, and if they challenge him, he lets them know about it. Like, come on, boys.
You better be accurate. You better slip. If you better not slip because
that better be on a rope, and it better be on a dime. You can't no messing up because I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, he's leading a very talented secondary. You got Trayvon Hobbs and Aubrey Parker, who were converted corners, now playing safety. There's Cooper DeVoe, who's taking a semester off, who'll be back next year, who started since 2019. So and there's a lot of depth. Sam Miller and Uriel Richardson and got some young pups, but Isaiah is that guy, like you said. He's the dog. He's the alpha. He's him.
You got another alpha, I think, at the linebacker position in Junior Gaffa. I mean, I seen a couple highlights from last year, and we're just watching him play, man. He don't have to say anything. Like, he just leads by his presence on the field. So talk to us a little bit about Gaffa.
It's funny because I have a connection to him too. I coached the outside linebackers my first year here, and Junior was a freshman, and he just plays full, whistle to whistle, doesn't say much, plays with a lot of passion, and the guys just feed off of him. And he was all league 2 years ago. Last year he had some injuries, but he's a dog. He leads that linebacker room. He's an incredible talent. And people don't know is he's a member of the rugby team here too, who just won a national championship. So he California kid, plays football, plays rugby, an incredible person.
Wow, I did not know that. That is. Yeah. 2 sports star, and God bless him. Before I let you go, let's talk about the returning O-line. You got 4 guys: Donovan, Lucas, Hayden, and Jack coming back. Can you talk to us about the O-line? What are the expectations for them up front?
Yeah, so the guys that are coming back is Donovan Allen, who's taking this semester off. He was an all-league player last year, very talented, a kid that NFL scouts are looking at right now. Griffin Sturts, who was also taking this semester off, is a kid that we switched over from D-line to O-line a couple years ago, and he hit the ground running. He's doing a good job. Hayden Bozich, who was a freshman last year, who played a ton, is back as a starter. Jack Conley is he started since he was a freshman. So those are the 4 starters that are back. And then we have a bunch of other guys that are just stepping up. AJ Heike, we got Aussie Joseph, Gavin Miller. I'm missing other people, but there's a bunch of other guys that are stepping up. But I love the 4 guys coming back, and we got some really talent in that room.
Who would you say seems to be the vocal leader on that line?
It's probably Jack Conley. Right now, because Donovan and Griff aren't really here. Donovan, when he's here, he has no problem speaking up. Griff as well. But Jack seems to be the guy right now this spring taking that leadership role.
Nice. We spoke earlier about, last year you had 3 wins, but there was some that you guys are in. You only lost by a few points, and it came down to the wire. What are expectations this year? I know it's early, but what's the vibe coming out there? What do you guys?
Yeah, it's the next step. It's time for the next step for us. It's in our 4th season as a staff. We got the kids that we recruited in the rooms. The kids have been working hard. We're looking to compete for an Ivy League title this year. And I tell the running backs, if that's not what you're here for, you're in the wrong room, because your running back coach is looking not to win 4 games next year, not to win 5 games next year.
Every game.
We are looking to compete for an Ivy League championship next year. We're looking to turn some heads, and I think we have the crew to do it. This summer is going to be critical. This month of May is going to be critical for them, because it's the transition month where spring ball is over and they got exams and we're recruiting. So I talked to my guys about the month of May being critical for us to keep going, and we're going to be in the mix. We're going to turn some heads this year. I'm confident of that.
Well, when I was there, I loved what I saw. I loved the swagger and the demeanor that everybody was playing with. I love Perry out there. I could hear him screaming from the parking lot when I closed my door. I says, okay, this is where I need to be. It was whistles and Perry's voice screaming. I said, I got to get down there as soon as possible. But I just like the vibe and the aura that you guys got going on there.
Appreciate
the kids.
that.
They all seem locked in, and even though the gentlemen that were hurt, stretching on the sideline, they were all like cerebral. Everybody was watching what was going on. I don't know if that's because you and Perry don't let them miss a beat or what it was, but I appreciate your time, Willie, and Tim as well in the green room, and I'm looking forward to covering you guys this year as well.
You gonna be at some games or what, Nino?
Absolutely, I'm gonna be as many games as possible, and I'll be covering you guys all year.
Good, man. Well, if you need anything from us, man, please do reach out. All access, man. We'd love to have you, and I appreciate you covering. I really do appreciate you covering our program.
Willie, I enjoy it, and I know it's bittersweet in your last practice, but you enjoy yourself and take some time to yourself.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother.
I'll be reaching out. Thanks.
Later.